Good morning, children. Welcome back to class 7th English. Today we are going to learn Unit 1 C reading, the new blue dress. We are going to learn Unit 1 C reading, the new blue dress. So the story takes place in Cleveland. Where is Cleveland? Okay, Cleveland is in the US. Okay, the United States of America. Okay, one of the states called Ohio. Okay, so this Cleveland is in Ohio, right? In the United States of America. The story, the new blue dress, takes place in Ohio, Cleveland. And you know, there are 4 types of seasons, especially in the European countries, in the Western countries. Each season, they will have a lot of celebrations. Okay, not like our Asian countries. In the Western countries, they celebrate each and every season. For example, from December to February, they have winter. Right? And now from March to May, they have spring. And then June to August, they have summer. And then September to November, they have autumn. Okay, so in which season does the tree shed leaves? Definitely in autumn. Okay, it is between September to November. So the trees started shedding their leaves, and then by December they start the winter. And we can find in European countries, the total branch and all the ways and all the roofs of the house, they all will be covered with snow. And it continues till February. After that, they start spring season. What does it mean? So the trees, they all have shed their leaves in autumn, followed by winter. And when the spring season starts, all the trees, they start bringing their new leaves, flowers, and the total country will be looking so beautiful. In each and every house, they'll have the plants and trees. They all start flowering and blossoming. It will be a beautiful scene. Okay. When spring came to the city of Cleveland in 1909, it did not change Gates Avenue. People who lived on the pretty streets near Gates Avenue were making gardens and painting their houses, but Gates Avenue continued to look dirty and ugly. Gates Avenue was a short street, but it seemed longer because it was so ugly. Most of the families who lived there had very little money. They never expected to have any more. Okay, so in Cleveland, in the year 1909, when the spring came, all the people, nearby there, especially that Gates Avenue, the people those who are living nearby Gates Avenue, they started painting their house and making their fences and all repair and make the garden pretty, except the Gates Avenue. The people at Gates Avenue, they didn't do any of these things. Okay, they didn't have the pretty garden. Nothing was there. But the people, those who were living nearby Gates Avenue, they started doing all the renovation works like making the fences ready, painting their house. They are getting ready to welcome the spring. Okay, as I told you, they celebrate each and every season. And this Gates Avenue, it was short street, and moreover, it was not at all looking longer because it was so ugly. All the people those were living in Gates Avenue, they had their fences broken, the houses dull in color, not brightness, and the creepers are grown, no trimming, all these things. So Gates Avenue was looking uh, short street, and it was not looking because it was untidy, we can call it, or ugly. Because the people those who lived there, they had very little money. And even they didn't want to have any more. They never thought that, okay, we are poor, we have to earn more, we have to paint our house, nothing like that. They were living a satisfactory life there. What all they had, they just lived a life. But at the same time, the people those who are living nearby Gates Avenue, whenever the spring comes, especially they start painting their house, making the fences ready, and make all the preparations to welcome the spring season. Okay, as I told you, that is the season. The trees started sprouting and flowering, even the fruits and everything. Okay, now their houses had not been painted for many years, and they did not even have running water. The street itself was so ugly. There was no pavement, there was no street light, and the railroad at the end of Gates Avenue added noise and dirt. The other girl in the school near Gates Avenue wore new and pretty clothes this spring. But the little girl from Gates Avenue still wore the dirty dress that she had worn all the winter. Probably that was the only dress she owned. Okay, so people, as I told you, nearby Gates Avenue, when the spring season started, they all started the painting and all these things. But the people of Gates Avenue, they didn't do it. Okay, for many years, they haven't painted their houses. Okay, and even they didn't have the running water. Okay, they didn't have the running water, and even the streets were ugly. They didn't have the pavement. Pavement means what? Okay, that is footpath. Okay, they didn't have the pavement. Okay, that is called the footpath. Okay, so what is the meaning of pavement? Footpath. Okay, running water, water coming from the main supply when taps are turned on. So they didn't have the running water, and they didn't have the pavement. And even their area, Gates Avenue, was looking ugly. Okay, because they, for many years, they did not paint their house. They did not make all the fences ready. Okay, right. Now, other girls nearby the Gates Avenue, when they came to school, they all came in neat and tidy dressings, except one girl from the Gates Avenue. The girl who came from the Gates Avenue, she was looking ugly. Even though she was pretty, because the dirty dress she wore, because that it says, the lesson says that she was wearing the dress the total winter. That means from December to February. Now it is spring season. Okay, so the whole winter she wore that dress, and it was looking ugly. So that girl from the Gates Avenue, she came to school, and she was entirely different from other girls or the students who came nearby the Gates Avenue, because they all wore new dress, or they had a tidy dress, and they had a tidy look. But this girl, she was looking ugly, because her dress was ugly or dirty. Why? Because she wore the same dress whole winter from December to February. Okay. Now, one day the teacher said, "Won't you wash your face before you come to school tomorrow morning? Please do that just for me." The next morning, the child's pretty face was clean and her hair tidy. Before the little girl went home that afternoon, the teacher said, "Now, dear, please ask your mother to wash your dress." See, I repeat, the girl who came from the Gates Avenue, she was looking ugly. But even in that ugly thing, her beauty was there. She was so pretty girl. Because of this dirty dress or the shabby face, she was looking ugly. But even in that ugly, her beauty was covered. So finally, the teacher called her nearby and told, "Won't you wash your face? So tomorrow when you come to school, please wash your face and come. Just for me. Okay, only for me. Please do it." The teacher was so inspiring maybe. The teacher told the touching word that, "Please wash your face and come just for me. Not for anybody, just for me." And the next day she came. She was looking so pretty. Once she washed her face, her beauty came out. And at the end of the day, when she was about to go home, the teacher called her and said, "Please ask your mother to wash your dress once. Okay, you give this dress and ask your mother to wash it, and you can wear it on the next day." Right? Okay. Now, the next morning, the child's pretty face was clean and her tidy. Before the little girl went home that afternoon, the teacher said, "Now dear, please ask your mother to wash your dress." But the girl continued to wear the same dirty dress. Her mother is probably not interested in her, the teacher thought. So she bought a bright blue dress and gave it to the little girl. The child took the gift eagerly and rushed home. Okay, so the teacher, the end of the day, when the class is completed, the teacher told that girl from the Gates Avenue, "Now today you ask your mother to wash the dress." And the teacher was expecting the next day she'll come in new and clean dress. But to the teacher's disappointment, the girl came in the same dress. Okay, the same dirty and shabby or ugly dress, the girl came to school. Now the teacher thought that, she thought that maybe the mother has no interest. Mother has no interest in her. That's the reason maybe that the mother is not taking any care. So what did the teacher do? The inspiring teacher, she bought a new dress, new blue dress, and gifted the child. And the child's face got light up. Okay, the child's face became so happy. It was like a blossom flower. The child became so happy. She took the gift and she was going in a hurry to reach home to tell her parents about her new blue dress given as a gift by the teacher. The next morning, she came to school in the new blue dress and she was very clean and tidy. She told her teacher, "My mother couldn't believe her eyes when she saw me this morning in my new dress. My father wasn't at home, but he see me at supper tonight." She was full of excitement. Okay, so the next morning, the girl came to school in that new blue dress. And here, she was very clean and tidy. She was looking so pretty, so beautiful. Okay, and then she told, "See ma'am, see teacher, my mother could not believe it's me." Okay, when my mother saw me, she was really surprised. She couldn't believe her eyes. But my father wasn't at home. Okay, my father wasn't at home when he came to school. And definitely, he will see me tonight during supper time. Tonight, supper time, my father will see me. Okay, and then the girl was with a full of excitement, happiness. Okay, because that was the first time that someone gifted her a dress. Okay, now, when her father saw her in the new blue dress, he was amazed to find that he had a very pretty little girl. When the family ate supper, he was even more amazed to see a cloth on the kitchen table. The family had never used a tablecloth before. "We are going to begin to be tidier here," his wife said. "I am ashamed to be dirty when our daughter is so clean." Okay, so, and the same day when the daughter went home, her father saw his daughter in a new blue dress, and then the father couldn't believe his eyes because his own daughter, then she understood that, okay, my daughter is so pretty. My daughter is looking so pretty in this new blue dress. When they ate supper together, There was some kind of change in the atmosphere, and then the father looked at the kitchen table. Father could get surprised. Why? Because the kitchen table was never put a cloth, but now the table is covered with a good cloth. And then the mother started saying, hereafter we are going to be tidier more. In each and everything we can become more and more tidier. Why? Because I am ashamed. When my daughter is clean, I am ashamed to be like this untidy. Who said? The mother of the child, right? After supper, the mother began to wash the kitchen floor. Her husband watched silently for several moments. Then he went outside and began to repair the fence. The next evening, with the family's help, he began to make a garden. Okay, now, see, all this work started from the teacher. The teacher inspired the girl. Now, the mother is inspired by the girl, and then father is inspired by the mother. Okay, so see the change taking place. Now, the mother was cleaning the kitchen floor for the first time in their life, and father was watching it. After some time, what did he do? He went out. They had a fence, but it was broken. You know what is fence? No. We make dividing the boundaries of other houses. So he started making the fence. That means the broken fences and all, he started arranging them. And even with the help of the family, both the daughter and wife, they started making a beautiful garden, right? Okay. During the following week, the man in the next house watched what his neighbor was doing. And by the end of the week, the man began to paint this house. For the first time in 10 years, a few days later, the young minister of a church near Gates Avenue passed these two houses and saw two men working. For the first time, he noticed that there was no pavement on Gates Avenue, and no street lights and no running water. People who are trying so hard to make decent homes here deserve help, the minister thought. He asked some important citizen in the city to help them. Okay, so what happened? During that week, okay, that particular week, the minister in the church in the Gates Avenue, he happened to walk in front of their houses. Okay, there he saw these two men. Okay, before that, what I should say? So, when this girl's father started working with the family members to repair the fence and making a new garden, the man nearby the house got inspired. The man, he was observing these people, and when he saw that these people started repairing their house or fences and started painting, the man nearby the house got inspired. There he too started painting the house. It was after 10 years. For last 10 years, they didn't paint it. But this man got inspired by this girl's father's work, and he started painting the house. He too started making all the repairing of fences, etc. And one day, okay, it happened, the minister of the church in the Gates Avenue, he happened to pass on through that way. There he saw two men working. He got surprised. It was the first time that he came there. There he realized that they didn't have a pavement. What is pavement? Footpath. They didn't have a pavement and they didn't have the running water. Okay, so the minister thought that, okay, people who are trying so hard to live here, they should get something that deserve. They deserve this kind of help. So the minister thought that, he thought of asking some important citizens of that area to help these people in the Gates Avenue. Okay, now a few months later, because of the young minister, there was a pavement on Gates Avenue. There was a street light on the corner, and the houses had running water. 6 months after little girl got her new blue dress, Gates Avenue had become a tidy street where respectable citizens lived. See, after a few months, because of the young minister, the minister who passed by that way, the minister of the church, because of him, there was a pavement. Because the citizens nearby, they started helping as per the instructions given by the minister from the church in the Gates Avenue. There was a pavement, and even they got this running water to each and every house. And after 6 months, the little girl started wearing the new blue dress. Gates Avenue had become tidy street where respectable citizens lived. And all the people, they started respecting each other, and even they started leading a life that is something respectable. Okay, now when people in other places heard the story of Gates Avenue, they began to organize their own cleanup campaigns. Since 1913, more than 7,000 towns and cities have organized campaigns for painting and repairing homes and making better lives for people who live in them. Okay, see, listen. So the radiant of the good activity started spreading to the total United States, total country. Okay, what happened, A few months later, okay, people started knowing about the story of Gates Avenue. People, those were living in Ohio, the states in the United States of America, Ohio, they started hearing about the campaign, clean campaign by the people of Gates Avenue. Then what did they do? They started taking up the same campaign of cleanup. Okay, not only Gates Avenue, the places wherever the people, those were living, the same living style of Gates Avenue, they started taking up the campaign of clean. Okay, clean the places, clean up the areas, or clean up their houses, etc. They started taking the campaign. Now, since 1913, more than 7,000 towns, okay, more than 7,000 towns in Ohio, they started taking the campaign of repairing their house, painting their house, repairing all the fences, making beautiful garden to make their state or to make their areas looking so beautiful and better life for the people who live there. Now, who knows what will happen when a teacher gives a little girl a new blue dress? See, my dear, the lesson is getting concluded with the question, who knows what will happen when a teacher gives a child a new blue dress? All these miracles started there, right? Isn't it? So when we started the lesson, the people of Cleveland, especially the particular place called this Gates Avenue, they had an untidy life. They had a disordered life. Okay, so where all these miracles started from? The teacher. The teacher started the small work. Okay, it was not a big work, a tremendous work. The teacher first of all asked the girl to wash her face and then gifted a new blue dress. All the changes started from there. Okay, so before I conclude the lesson, what I would like to tell you, even we have Saint Mother Teresa of Calcutta. What did she say? Small beginning has greater ends. Small beginning has greater ends. See here, what was a small beginning here? The teacher's activity of gifting the child a new blue dress. And what was the greater end? The total Ohio. Okay, more than 7,000 towns and cities, they started taking up the campaign of cleanup. All this, where it started from? Where does it start? From the teacher's small activity. Okay, so we too have to think about it, and we have to learn the moral of this lesson, that when we start a small work, when we do it with the wholeheartedly, then definitely it will have a greater end. Once again, running water coming from the main supply when taps are turned on. Pavement, footpath, an excitement, strong feeling, amazed, filled with great wonder, and decent, respectable. And as I told you, they have mainly 4 seasons. What are they? So you should know, December to February winter, March to May spring, June to August summer, September to November autumn. Now you may ask, what about the rainy season, monsoon? That is not very, the usual climate they have, or the season they have. Mainly they have 4 seasons. These monsoon seasons are of unexpected in the Western countries. Okay? Thank you, children. Happy learning.